It's 6:30. Good morning, I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. There's been an armed robbery overnight on a Caltex service station at Raymond Terrace. Police say a man entered the Richardson Road outlet at about 1:30 this morning and threatened the console operator with a hammer. He escaped with a small amount of cash. The state opposition says Hunter fire stations are being left short-staffed, with the Baird government failing to allocate extra firefighters to the region. Labor says the government promised extra firefighters to a number of Sydney-based stations this week, but the Hunter is left to deal with the loss of 73 firefighters in the past few years. Shadow Minister for the Hunter, Sonia Hornery, says in light of recent weather, the need for properly manned fire stations is essential.
They should be also appointing additional firefighters for the Hunter so that no fire station is left unstaffed, particularly when we're coming into the summer months and we've reached record heats of 40 degrees even in November. It means that it's going to be a busy period, unfortunately, for fires, and we need all of our fire stations staffed.
Newcastle ratepayers are being told to brace for a 50% rate increase over the next 5 years. This means the average rate bill will go up by about $500 a year by 2020. Lord Mayor Nuatali Nelms used her casting vote to get the increase over the line, with an application now set to be put to IPART. Bullaroo residents have long been concerned about lead-contaminated dust from the old Pasminco smelter site blowing into neighbouring streets. Neighbours to the Moonscape claim they've made numerous complaints to the Environment Protection Authority about the issue, but EPA records show only 5 complaints about the problem in the last 2 years. Jim Sullivan from the Bullaroo Action Group says the site should be more closely monitored.
Well, nothing surprises me with the Environment Protection Authority. They should have full-time monitoring during that work, full-time dust monitoring, and they should have regular audits of the site. And that's not happening.
Bob's Farm residents are up in arms about a proposed sand mine off Nelson Bay Road. An application has been lodged to transport hundreds of thousands of tonnes of sand from the site each year, despite the mine sharing its borders with a primary school. The Herald reports if approved, the project would see 200 truck movements a day. An environmental impact statement on the project is due by Christmas. The results are in following the Roads and Maritime Services operation Go Easy on the Alcohol, which targeted boaters in the Hunter and across the state earlier this month. The campaign involved more than 1,200 vessel safety checks and at least 120 random breath tests. RMS Maritime Director Angus Mitchell says the campaign was more about creating awareness than punishing offenders.
The alcohol awareness campaign was aimed not only at compliance but equally in creating awareness around the consumption of alcohol during boating activities. And skippers must take into account external factors such as dehydration, sun, wind, as well as the cumulative effect that has on judgment when you throw alcohol into the mix.
And workers building the new Broadwalk at Nobby's Beach have uncovered some history. Old railway tracks dating back to the late 1800s have been unearthed, with archaeologists called in to document the find. Despite the discovery, the Bathers Way project remains on schedule. Now with sport, Belinda Delaceres.
The Newcastle Jets will be striving to post their first win of the season this weekend when they face the Mariners in Sunday's F3 derby. Jets midfielder Marcos Flores insists the boys will be pushing for the 3 points as they look to pick themselves up from second last on the ladder. He says the team needs to pull even closer together.
We have to fight double because it's really difficult field and difficult circumstances. We have to stick together.
Hunter squads are expected to enjoy a greater chance at FFA glory on the back of a revised draw for Northern New South Wales football. At least 3 quarter-finalists will now come from First Division and Inter-District clubs, 2 from the Southern Pool, with the Northern contingent cut from 4 to 2 places to even the playing field. And Knights forwards Jeremy Smith and Cade Snowden have returned to training this week after serving the past 3 months of backdated suspensions for inadvertently taking banned substances while playing for Cronulla 3 years ago. That's sport. I'm Belinda Delaceres.
To a new RFM News Time, 26 to 7.